Hello and welcome to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're in my McLaren P1 GTR, fully upgraded. This is over in McLaren Generations. This will be the most distance I've done since update 6.3. Best run. This is all going to be about clock management technique. So that's why I'm going backwards, because I don't want to be passing a bunch of bots right away, and I don't want to be driving really slow. So watch what happens. Now I've decided to go to about 37.7 seconds. It's kind of more by feel because it's going so fast. And you've got to drive it just like I do if you want to do this type of technique. I am fully upgraded. So watch, I'm logging distance. See, when you drive backwards, you don't get a negative distance. So watch at the start-finish line. There, I already had that distance that I've logged. So that's extra distance. And that's nice to have that at the end of the race. Now, I was super low in corner 1. I won't go that low in corner 2 at these speeds, but I will be going that low again for corners 3 and 4. Look at this. There's no cars inside, and I'm out of time. That looks crazy, right? Nah, don't worry. This is by design. Trial and error, trial and error. Lots of trial and error to figure out how I can do this. So now I'm really low again, and I will be able to cross the start-finish line. If I fall below 100 kilometers an hour, I'm in huge trouble. So like I said, I've worked this out over time, lots of trial and error. Let's see how low my speed gets. Oh boy. Well, this is going to get dicey. I will run out of time before I catch cars. But you just watch. So I'm going to take this super low, and I might do that again for the next corner at this speed. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to bother doing that. I think I'll be okay. So, again, these are the first cars I'm encountering. They're going to substantially overbrake this corner. So look at this. I have no time. They're pulling away, but watch. I mean, come on, that's an F1 GTR. What are they doing? And yes, this is crazy. Passing like that, that's crazy. There's some cars you can do that in. Mazda Fury, at this track, you can do that in the whole race, but you can't go endless there. So, it's too bad. There's only one car that you can do this endlessly in now, and that is the Nissan Skyline Group A BNR 32 over in the Group A Grand Tour series, which is in Pro, and helps to be fully upgraded to go really far. It's the most crazy race in the game, most hectic traffic you'll see. I've got a video I'll put at the end here. There are times where there are over 50 cars in my screen. I'm sometimes passing a dozen cars in just one corner. It's just mind-boggling. So, I'm going to keep this full throttle until I get my timer filled up. And then I'm going to do something different. And this is where it gets a little bit sketchy when I get to that strategy. You see, I don't want to be having to slow down and coast. Woo! You can see I am cutting this very close. I'm staying as low as I can because that's the shortest distance around this track. Interestingly enough, and just like in real racing, it doesn't matter how low or high you go, they're going to decide how much distance you traveled, and they're not going to actually log your distance. So like the Indy 500, the cars are probably doing more than 500 miles because they're staying outside on the straights and then inside just at the apex of the corners. Now that was a little bit too close. I gave up some speed there. I wasn't quite sure which line to take. I should have gone low. So basically with this track, oh, here we go. My timer's full. I don't want to pass those guys. I'm going to go backwards for a while and repeat what I did before. Right now, I'm not losing distance. If you turn around and drive the wrong direction, you'll go negative distance. So I'm not losing any distance. Watch, see? It's staying at 18.16. And now I can actually drive down here, and this is still on track. See? Distance is staying white. If I'm off track, it goes red. Watch what happens when I go forwards. Instantly logging distance. See? 17, 18, there we go. I can drive down here. You can't do this really during a race, though. Well, I am doing a race. You can't do it at speed. Okay, now I'm hoping I can keep it full throttle for the rest of this race. So one thing that just did, I let the bots get way far ahead of me, and they're going to be more gapped. When you run fast back-to-back laps enough, you start getting clumps of bots. That's where you're going to suddenly get 2, 3, 4. That's when you get those clumps, is when it's fast back-to-back laps. So one way to not have that happen is to just slow down every single lap a little bit, make your laps a little bit more drawn out. But that's not the best way to go super far. And there's other ways to earn currency. This is more so for my personal benefit, my personal record. But there is a useful part. Some of my friends have logged 88 kilometers here. I've got one or two that still have an old school score, which is surprising, but 88 kilometers is possible using clock management technique. In this one, I'm going over 90, guys. So that's pretty epic. Now look at this. I'm out of time. Where's the bots? This is a problem. I need a bot right now. Okay, well, this could be a problem. Now, they're still going to be pretty slow. So I could still catch one with my timer running out because, again, I didn't pass very many cars yet. Like what? I wasn't counting. Might have been 6 or 7 cars. Come on, where is he? There he is. 2, 1, 0, nothing. And pass. And then I'm running out of time again. And this is pretty good. This is pretty good timing. This is actually what I want to see, even though it looks really sketchy and it's kind of nerve-wracking, but this is actually what I want to see. Okay, so I'm at 30 kilometers. Now, if I was doing this race, usually my go time moment for this car at this track would be about 35 to 40 kilometers. Go time meaning I'm just keeping the pedal to the metal. So this time, my timer's going to be peaking later, which is good. Timer peaking, I mean getting to that point where I'm just about at 90 seconds. Like, that's a full timer. You can't go over 90. If you've got 89 seconds on your clock and you pass a car, you're just gonna go to 89.999. Actually, maybe it does show 90. Anyways, you can't go over 90, so you're giving up a whole bunch. Every time you pass a car, it's 10 seconds. At this track, when you cross the start-finish line, it's 20 seconds. So that you can't control because that doesn't move. You can control how many cars you pass. And so that's why I would normally control that. Now, here I'm finally, in the one video where I showed how this isn't endless anymore, by the way, in that video, I did a perfect race. I'd never done that before. Perfect meaning from the start to the end of the race, I never lifted off the throttle. I never touched the brakes. I never hit a wall. I did get close to a couple of bots, but that's about it. So I proved it's just not endless anymore. You can't pass 42 cars here anymore. I passed 41, never even saw the 42nd car. 42 is the answer. That's how you get to an endless endurance race, which I have done a ridiculous amount of. So finally I'm starting to get bots a little bit clumped together, but not much. Like, those guys weren't that close. Funny how I did get a P1 GTR though. Eventually that's all we're going to get is P1 GTRs. If you want to know more of the history of this particular race, you should watch the other video. I'll have a link to it at the end. This hasn't always been this way. Like, P1s like that weren't always in the game. P1s weren't always in McLaren generations. So things have changed, and that's what made it so this wasn't endless anymore. But yes, you might still get guys who can go really far, and you're wondering, well, how do I win this race? That's what I've got for you. And it's also just kind of fun. It's fun keeping it pinned at Indy. Okay, so there's a bit of a clump, high or low. Let's go, gotta go low. The current bot programming, they will give you the line if you've reasonably got it. I wasn't sure what to do with this guy. Okay, so 68 seconds. I'm still a good 22 seconds short. That's good. That's good. I'm not peaking yet. 5th place is right there. Yeah, this is pretty good. I wish there was more. Like, the problem with the Nissan Skyline Group A, B, and R32. You know what? That's the original Godzilla. That's the nickname of that car. That's the original Godzilla. It's a really fun race. The pay is just horrible. So it's just not worth your while unless you just want to see the most hectic race you can see in this game. It truly is a survival race. The cars get super clumped up. There's total random crashes. I've even had cars thrown at me out of the bunch of traffic because they would crash and a car would hit the wall and go flying in the air. Crazy things can happen. It's pretty wild. Oh, there's a little clump. So that was perfect. I was able to go down on the inside. With this car, you can kind of drive where you want. Like, I can actually stay up by the wall and only have to go halfway down into the track to take the corners because this car has such good grip to speed ratio. And then, like here, I only really need to go halfway up the track for the most part. You'll notice that I don't really have to go any higher than that. So I'm trying to keep the distance around the track short. Okay, let's see here. This is where I'm starting to wonder if I'm going to have to lift it all. At this point, I don't think it's even worth it. Even if I am going to overfill my timer, the loss of momentum would not be beneficial for me. So 60, I'm going to hit 69, 20 seconds on the clock. I do want to see myself getting very close to overfilling my timer. You just want to hit the sweet spot. So watch this, I'm going to get freakishly close to him. Not too much. I don't want to lose speed. So that was into the 80s. We'll see if I get to see anyone else for this lap. It's a very interesting race. It's a lot more difficult than Daytona Motor Speedway because that's got mega high banking. So every car can stay full. Well, not every car. There are some Koenigseggs and Bugattis that can't stay full throttle even at Daytona Motor Speedway, because they just have so much ridiculous speed. But here, the majority of cars cannot stay full throttle because the corners are quite shallow. That's what does make it challenging. Oh yes, and I need to mention that I issued a challenge. In this car, it's easy to turn left. In the Mustang GT Premium, absolutely not. So for all the people that's saying it's easy to turn left, I dared you to beat me. I've dared people to try to beat the distance I set on that car. Keeping it full throttle, corner after corner, at this track and that car is amazingly difficult. You're on the edge of wrecking all the time. And that's what real NASCAR is about. Any racing. So not just NASCAR, but I say NASCAR because that's where people say, oh, it's easy to just turn left. It's not. It doesn't matter what direction the corner is. On the edge is on the edge. And so that's what that race really shows you, is that you can keep it full throttle, but you've got to use up the entire track and be extremely purposeful with your driving. I know a few people have commented on that video asking, how do I manage to keep it full throttle? They keep hitting walls, and I understand. Even in the video, I hit a few walls. It's very difficult. Okay, so this is crazy. I'm just hitting 70 kilometers. That's pretty surprising. For a lot of people, that's really surprising. And this has been full throttle for a long time. I don't know. Maybe this car's tank could do that. Yeah, I'm just thinking here, in NASCAR, wouldn't be uncommon to get about 30 laps at a track like this, I think. I'm just going by memory, so I'm not 100% sure. But I think we're in the 20s now for laps, are we not? I really haven't been watching. I gotta watch this time. See what my lap number is. 19, okay. So we're gonna get into the 20s for sure. Just see how far we get. So already now I'm starting to run out of bots. So it did peak. I was getting very close to overfilling my timer, never got there. And yeah, there's another bot on the horizon. That's perfect. I'd like to get at least one more after him. Well, yeah, because we're going to hit 80, so you can tell, 90's not very far away. 2.5 laps. Like, basically, one lap is just over 4 kilometers. So, roughly 2.5 laps for 10 kilometers. Lap 20. So I'm going to be a little bit careful. I don't want to push this too much. Like you can see I'm staying close, but not that close. And you can see speed basically 387 to 389, If I'm doing really good, I don't go down to 387. By really good, it's how gentle you take it down into the tarmac, into the bottom here. I probably hit 390 a couple of times. I wasn't watching all the time. Hitting 390, getting to the apex of the corner is possible. So now is where it starts to get dangerous again, and I'd love to see one more car. I pretty well have to get one more car to have this go the distance. So seeing that car and being able to catch it are two very different things. That gets a little bit nerve-wracking. I don't want to run out of time before the end of this lap. That would be really bad if I lost momentum. Come on, let's keep this going. So it's dangerous. Like, how far down? If I push it too far, I'll probably lose speed down to 387. Ooh, 387 there. That's not good. Well, I got my 389 back. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's nice. Okay, and now I need that car. Like, now. There he is. I wonder if I'm going to catch him. But you know what, though? Look at my distance. I might not need him. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to catch him. I just don't think it's going to happen. He will not slow down very much for the corners. He might be going down to 383, 382 in the corners. Nope, I will not catch him. What I do need to do is get to the start-finish line again. So here you do not want to accidentally go off track. That loss of momentum will be really bad at these speeds. Already, this is really far. This is way further than most people see anymore. But I've got enough speed. How low is it going to be? 80, 70 kilometers an hour? Oh, wow. Okay, lap 23, so 22 complete laps. And there we go, already into the 90s. That's amazing. My old record was 92 point something. So we've got to clearly make it past 92 for this to be a definite new record for me. So I'm out of time again. Boy, I ran out of time a lot in this race, didn't I, guys? But here we're to the 92s, and I'm still going just over 200. So there, I'm going to keep it really low, but not so low. I don't want those right sides to nick the grass, because it'll just suck my speed away. Come on. Look, it's looking really good to hit 93. And there we go. That is my new record. Very happy with that. Boy, you know what? If I could have caught that car, it would have been another whole lap, but it just wasn't possible. Super happy with this. And there you go. I just gave you all my tricks. So you could do the same thing if you want to. Let's throw this into 4 times regular speed. I'll throw up some other video clips here so you can see what I was talking about. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for joining me today. Drop me a comment, and I'll see you out there on the track.